Right now, tensions are rising across England as councils push back against government housing targets with a uniquely British mix of sharp wit and polite defiance. This is not your usual tea and penalty box drama. No, this is a full-blown bureaucratic standoff, with local councils sending letters so exquisitely civil yet razor-sharp they could slice through glass. The Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, has been tasked with delivering 1.5 million new homes by 2029. A bold ambition, no doubt. But critics argue it is a bit like promising to solve traffic congestion simply by building more roads. Theoretically sound, but practically challenging, especially when space is at a premium. England, after all, does not stretch like rubber to accommodate endless growth. What makes this rebellion so captivating is the extraordinary way local councils have chosen to voice their dissent. No street protests or fiery speeches here. Instead, they have opted for formal, impeccably polite letters that drip with passive-aggressive brilliance. Leading the charge is the Cotswolds District Council. Their leader, Mike Evie, has urged the government to apply some common sense to these unrealistic targets. In British political terms, telling the government to apply common sense is less a suggestion and more a challenge akin to a duel at dawn. Cotswold's letter highlights the threat these housing plans pose to their rural landscape, noting that 80% of their land is unsuitable for development, effectively saying, you cannot get blood from a stone, but phrased with the dignity of parliamentary debate. The council is being asked to build over 1,000 homes this year, more than double their previous target, comparable to suddenly expecting a family of 4 to cater for 10 guests overnight. Only here, it is entire landscapes that are at risk of being consumed. But Cotswold is not alone. The historic city of Bath, twice inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has joined the ranks of defiance. Bath's letter reads like a bureaucratic masterpiece of shade, warning that any development beyond the current plans for an extra 5,000 to 6,000 homes risks the city's heritage status. To put it plainly, they are saying, we have double heritage recognition, and you want to risk that for your housing quotas? Are you having a laugh? Then there is Arran Council, whose contribution to the revolt is equally compelling. They argue that housing policies continue to penalize councils for factors far beyond their control, the political equivalent of blaming a picnic host for rain. Developers, they say, are dragging their feet on approved projects, much like teenagers reluctantly tidying their bedrooms. East Hampshire is also in the mix, facing a gargantuan target of 11,000 homes by 2024. But with 57% of the district lying within the South Downs National Park, where development is heavily restricted, this demand is like expecting a rave in a library. The space might be there, but the rules make it impossible. This rebellion brilliantly exposes the fundamental flaw in central government's top-down target setting. It is as if McDonald's headquarters decreed that every branch, whether in bustling Piccadilly Circus or a remote Highland village, must sell the exact same number of Big Macs. The figures might look neat on spreadsheets, but reality has a habit of ignoring such neatness. The government's response? Predictably, they have reiterated their commitment to tackling the housing crisis, insisting that every area must contribute its fair share. They claim revised housing targets align with local needs, but councils are explicitly telling them these figures are out of touch with local realities. It is the political equivalent of promising to bake a cake without breaking any eggs. Admirable in theory, near impossible in practice. What unfolds here is a classic British standoff, central government ambition versus local knowledge. On one side, Angela Rayner, with her calculator and targets, determined to solve the housing crisis through sheer arithmetic. On the other, councils armed with intimate knowledge of their landscapes, pointing out that you cannot build homes on mountains, in rivers, or atop heritage sites without severe consequences. The irony? Everyone agrees more housing is desperately needed. The real battle is over where those homes should go and how quickly they can be built without erasing the very qualities that make these places special. This rebellion also reveals something quintessentially British about our politics, our refusal to engage in open, noisy conflict. Instead of protests and barricades, we get impeccably polite letters. Instead of revolutions, we have passive-aggressive bureaucracy at its finest. These councils are telling the government where to stick their targets, just without causing a fuss at the parish council meeting. The question now is what comes next. Will Angela Rayner dig in her heels, demanding that physics and geography bend to her will? Will she concede that local knowledge deserves a seat at the table? Or will we witness the classic British fudge, a compromise where everyone claims victory but nothing truly changes? Whichever way it goes, one thing is certain. This housing row is far from over. When councils from the Cotswolds to Hampshire unite in harmony over impossible demands, no amount of ministerial spin or optimistic spreadsheets can smooth things over. The housing crisis is real. The targets are ambitious. And the opposition? It is gathering momentum, armed with the sharpest, most devastatingly polite weapons in the British political arsenal. The battle lines are drawn, not with banners or barricades, but with stationery and signatures. This is British politics at its finest, a war fought not with fists or fury, but with formality and finely crafted prose. The government may hold the targets, but the councils hold the ground, defending it with the quiet determination of a nation that wins its battles with paperwork.